Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the InterSim Esports Network for your Sunday night of viewing, albeit a very wet one up here in the sunny Queensland. We're here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. Your location tonight is Autoclub Speedway. My name is Aidan Schultz. Joining me in the booth, as always, here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries is Ryan Barber. Good evening to you, Ryan.
Good evening, Aidan.
Mate, bit damp up here in Queensland, mate. How you faring down there, mate?
Yeah, it was pretty enjoyable. I personally love the wet weather, so it's nice sitting here and broadcasting Australasian Supercars eSeries tonight.
What else would you rather be doing on a Sunday night but broadcasting the Australasian Supercar eSeries? Of course, brought to you by My Private Seller, the Sim Racing Edge, also a major sponsor, and Ray White Rural Gander. Witcher Electrics, of course, a part of that one as well, with Justin Witcher, your reigning and two-time defending champion in the series as well. But Ryan, we're into the practice session. We're about 24 minutes into the practice session of the 30 minutes tonight, and then we're going to go into qualifying. But currently in the practice session, we have Aaron Dillon from Simboys Racing up in the first position, and saying that Gary Wellman's just topped him for the top time. So Gary Wellman from Simboys 40.47, Aaron Dillon 40.49, and Andy Barber, Southern Stars Esports Racing, rounding out your three here in practice with a 40.58. But no surprise to see the Simboys cars up the pointy end here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries.
Yeah, we've definitely gotten familiar seeing them up here, so we'll see what they can do tonight. Yeah,
we will, and just touching on Simboys at the moment, Kay Donnelly, Nicholas Watts there from Paul Jackson from the InterSim Esports Network in the car again tonight. They're in 5th, Kay Donnelly from Simboys in 6th, Troy Davison, Simboys in 7th, Raymond Yeager, your current championship leader, in 8th position here in practice. So Raymond, after having an absolute stellar start to the season, is going to be looking at trying to consolidate that tonight. But here at Auto Club, as you can see on your screens, it creates some good 2 or 3 wide action in the supercars. So it might be a little bit of damage limitation for Raymond tonight to see whether he can head into round number 6 next Sunday night, still at the point of the championship run.
Yeah, Raymond's going to be looking for a nice clean points haul to maintain his championship position, but the Southern Stars boys, Vandy Barber and Adam Malone, will be fighting to steal the championship lead off him tonight.
Yeah, and that's the story of the championship so far. Good evening to you, Trev Micklemore. Good to see you tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network. As there's a little bit of a crash there. That hopefully they get that all out of the way earlier. But good evening to you, Trev Micklemore. Good to see you tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network. But the story of the night, as you did mention, Ryan, not only is it Raymond Yeager coming into the round leading the championship, you talk about teams. So you got Southern Stars Esports Racing. They've got 3 drivers within the top 5 of the championship, or top 6 of the championship, rather. You've got Simboys, which are always there or thereabouts. They're in the top 6 of the championship as well. Then you've got Pinnacle Esports as well, with Raymond Yeager leading the championship, as we're on board with Andy Barber in the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. A lot of good teams, and anyone can take out round number 5 tonight at Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, as we can see in the practice session at the moment, the Simboys are looking pretty hungry at getting a good performance here tonight. So there'll be a lot of team strategy playing here with Simboys, Southern Stars, and of course Pinnacle Esports Racing. So we'll see how the strategy plays with these three, and see how they can extend or take the championship lead tonight.
But let's not just focus on those 3 teams. There's another team, Aotearoa Racing. I can't even pronounce that, and Paul's going to absolutely hate me for it. Paul Jackson on your screens right now. Him and Barry Neal, they're going to be there or thereabouts. They're going to be putting those cars up the front of the grid, no doubt. And also we've got Jai Schultz in there tonight, the Lesser Schultz. He's the Lesser Schultz this week, Ryan. So he's there in the 27 entry. He's currently in 15th place here in practice with a 41 flat. So about half a second to find there for Jai Schultz, but he'll be there or thereabouts as well. Of course, we cannot go past our man on the screen at the moment, Sam Katakuznos, the 968 Team Bushfrink Racing. He's quick in everything he drives. He's currently in the 14th position in practice. As we know, it is very draft dependent in practice, so it's going to be a standalone qualifying session, so we'll see how they go. But don't write off Sam Katakusanos in this one either, or even just in behind him, Peter Matson from Ray White Rural Gayndah. As you see him getting a good run, he's going to probably get a good time here. He's getting a good draft down the main straight. We'll see where that puts Pete Matson when he comes across the start-finish line, and he hasn't moved anywhere at the moment, but we'll see how we go. But interesting, a lot of other drivers. We can one driver we got to keep an eye out for tonight. He's going to love this on the broadcast, Ryan, is Brett Campbell, the 015. Under the bus he goes. Brett Campbell in the Lightning McQueen entry. Yeah, exactly. He's going to love it. I've been speaking to him on socials today, and he goes, "Don't throw me under the bus." So, of course, mate, if you say a commentator don't throw you under the bus, I'm going to do it. And there it is right there, the 015 of Brett Campbell. But in all seriousness, Brett's had a really good start to the series, albeit not the results he probably would have wanted. But he's had a good start to the series and been there in contention throughout the first 4 rounds. Didn't really run. I don't think he ran last week in the dirt, but we're back to the asphalt. So hopefully we can get Brett Campbell up there with a good result. As we're on board now with Kobe Jordan from Inside Lane Productions. He's currently in the 12th position here in practice. So Kobe doing a good job there with a 40.91. So keep an eye out too for Kobe Jordan. Just a big shout out to the livery. How good's that livery look? He's got a new livery done up for the race for Damo that we'll be doing in about 3 weeks' time. He's let that out on socials at the moment, but the 080 Kobe Jordan, just another one to keep an eye out for tonight.
Yeah, Kobe Jordan, as like a lot of these drivers here, are extremely quick. So you did mention the race for Damo there. As we see, Darren McKenzie was getting a bit sideways through the corner. But we do go through to qualifying at the moment with Sim Boys 1-2 in the practice session at the moment.
Yeah, we do, Ryan. We're off into the qualifying session. So everyone tuning in on the InterSim Esports Network that may or may not know, this is a 5-minute standalone qualifying. So they get 2 laps. They're on track by themselves. So we'll see different cars come out, and we'll see how we're going to set the grid here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. As Nicholas Walsh is the first one to jump out of pit lane and say, "I'm going to set the time." Good evening to you, Ruben Phelps, joining in on the broadcast, mate. Watching in, Rubes, unfortunate not to see you in the car tonight. That's a little bit different, but good to see you here on the InterSim Esports Network. Be sure to have a chat with us and keep us company here as we bring you 100 laps action around Autoclub Speedway. But Nicholas Walsh coming out of turns number 3 and 4, and he will hammer down and see where he's going to put the Sim Boys racing car here for round number 5. So he comes across the start-finish line into turns number 1 and 2 he goes. And it's pretty much just flat out here at Autoclub. Well, you're on your own, Ryan, from what I can see. But it's going to come down to thousandths, I think, here to see who's going to take pole position. So Nicholas Walsh making his way down the back stretch. He's gone purple sector. Of course, he has as his first car out on track at the moment. We'll just keep on board with Nicholas Walsh and see where he puts the car up after his first lap, and then we'll jump across to some other cars and see how they go. He's going really low there off the exit of turn number 3 and 4. So Nicholas Walsh coming across the start-finish line, and he's going to set the benchmark there with a 41.15. So we'll see whether anyone else here in the qualifying session has anything for Nicholas Walsh, as Todd Maxfield just goes to the top, and Troy Davidson with a 41.03. So no sooner did I just say that at Nicholas Walsh, the times are coming in thick and fast.
Yeah, so far we've had 7 drivers set a time at the moment as we're looking at Troy Davidson here. I will admit I was not paying attention just then, as I did get a Discord message from One Hand about jumping in here. So just to let you know there, Aiden. So times are coming in thick and fast, as you've said just before, as Troy Davidson does put it on pole at the moment, with Paul Jackson and Aiden Schultz taking out your top 3 at the moment. So it's
not sure that Aiden Schultz can get the top 3 because he's in the broadcast booth. So that's Jai Schultz. But thank you for that, mate. Good evening to you, Raymond Yeager, and good evening to you, Gary Wellman, for tuning in on the broadcast as well. So good evening. Gary will be tuning in and obviously supporting Troy Davidson and all the boys at the Sim Boys Racing entry. There's Jai Schultz's new livery there, supported by DSL Welding Services. So Jai Schultz currently in the third place. He's going to stay provisionally third, 41.05, absolute identical time to Paul Jackson there in second. So have a look at those times. Troy Davidson currently at the top here with 3 minutes into the qualifying session. Troy Davidson, 41.03. It looks like, bar anything going wrong, I think Wellman's still got to do a lap. And Gary, you're meant to be driving, not watching the broadcast, but Gary Wellman's still got to do a lap, as does Adam Malone, Barry Neal, Justin Witcher. But provisionally it is Troy Davidson at the top, 41.03. Paul Jackson in second, 41.05, not to be outdone by Jai Schultz, 41.05. Jamie Nankervis with a good lap, a 41.06. So Jamie Nankervis in the 18 with a good lap, provisionally starting on the outside of that second row. We're on board with Sam Katakuzanos now. We'll see where this puts him. It looks like he's done his lap as well, so that's only going to be good enough for Sam Katakuzanos to be in the 13th position, as Barry Neal just jumps to the top, 41.03. There's a tally-o paper between himself and Troy Davidson at the pointy end at the moment. So Barry Neal from Aotearoa Racing sits up in the point. He bettered his teammate of Paul Jackson. So at the moment, those two guys are going to be starting off the first and second row. We'll see whether Barry can go quicker this time across the strike for the second time we're asking here at Autoclub Speedway for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. So he's going to come across the line this time around. Barry Neal in the 22. Can he go better? Currently provisionally pole, makes his way across the strike, and 41.17, so couldn't go quicker, but still good enough to hold the provisional pole here for round number 5, Ryan.
Yeah, Barry Neal showing us how quick he is on ovals in other series. We definitely know how quick he is. So Adam Malone at the moment is setting another, or his first, another time at the moment. So we'll see where he can put his Southern Stars car. He is sitting second. Oh, actually, no.
And he's just run out of time there. So that's going to set your grid here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. So ladies and gentlemen, everyone tuning in here on the Indosim Esports Network, this is your starting grid for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series from Autoclub Speedway. It will be Barry Neal off the pole with Troy Davidson on the outside of the front row in P2. Justin Witcher, your reigning 2-time champion, out of P number 3 with Paul Jackson, the man from Indosim Esports Network, in 4th. Jai Schultz, Celeste Schultz will start out of P number 5 with Jamie Nankervis rounding out your 3rd row in 6th. Darren McKenzie from Southern Stars Esports Racing in 7th with Cade Donnelly in 8th. Out of 9th tonight will be Todd Maxfield with Adam Malone rounding out your 10. Brett Campbell, the man we've thrown under the bus already, will start out of P number 11 with a great qualifying lap there. Kobe Jordan starting out of P number 12. As we go across the grid in 13th starting position tonight is Nicholas Walsh with Gary Wellman out of 14. Sam Katakuzanos out of 15. Raymond Yeager, your current championship leader, with a lot of work to do tonight, starting out of the 16th position. Aaron Dillon from Simboys Racing in 17th. Andy Barber out of 18. Stevie Hoppett out of 19th with Pete Matson, Ray White, Royal Gander rounding out your 20. 21st starting position tonight is Jared Daly. Nigel Payton will start out of 22nd. Greg Spencer out of 23rd. And Tristan Koch out of the 24th position. In the 25th position tonight, Ruben Phelps, he is in here. He got in late. He's in the 25th position after not qualifying, and John Quast will round out your 26 starters tonight here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series from Auto Club Speedway. So good lap there by Barry Neal to be able to get the job done there, Ryan. But as we have become accustomed to see here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series, how they start is not how they're going to end in the first 5 laps.
Yeah, they're going to be racing hard at the start, of course, with Barry Neal and Troy Davidson, if I do see correctly, there in the timing tower. So those two, as we've seen the last few rounds, they will not want to be sitting there in first and second at the start of the race. They will want to get a draft buddy to save some fuel and some tyres to make it to the end.
100% they will, mate, and you touch on that, and that's really, really good from you. It's definitely a little bit of saving fuel will be a big component tonight. Obviously, running out at the front, you're going to use more fuel, but we'll see how the strategies play out. Obviously, hopefully, we go caution-free all the way through and we can see some good strategy, but we'll see how we go as Barry Neal is about to lead us to the green. Troy Davidson will be on the outside of that front row. Good to see Davo up the front. He's always good here in the supercars, and good bloke. All the boys from Simboys down in Tassie and Melbourne, so Big shout out to those guys. Justin Witcher, never write off him out of P number 2. The 2-time reigning champion of this series out of P number 3. Paul Jackson, can we throw him under the bus? The co-owner with myself at the Intersim Esports Network. He can actually drive apparently, Ryan. He's going to start on the outside of the second row. So we'll see how we go. We're about to go green here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. Barry Neal leads the field. It's in the hands of Barry. He's going to wait for the green flag. We can see Barney. As soon as he drops the green flag, we're going to go green, and we're green here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. As you listen to those cars roar past the stand, down into turn number 1 and 2 here at Autoclub Speedway, Ryan.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go 3 wide in turn 1 here, so yeah, Barry Neal, Troy Davidson, and it does look like Justin Witch is trying to make a move on the inside there as they're going down to the back straight, so yeah, they're definitely going off hard and fast, so we'll see what's going to happen here. It doesn't look like there has been no caution yet, so Justin Witch does look like he's trying to make a move around the outside of Jai Schultz there. Not calling him Aiden Schultz at the moment. Barry Neal out in the lead at the moment.
Yeah, Jai Schultz in the 27 doing a good job. Hopefully he's learnt. He's new to the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and we saw him, I think, the first round of the series. Showed a lot of pace in the 27, and as you can see there, trying to make his way up the inside of Barry Neal into 1 and 2 for the second timer asking tonight. But here at the Australasian Supercar E-Series, there is tyre management that's needed. They've only got 1 set over the wall, and there is 2 pit stops. So it's all about managing the tyre and managing the race. So Jai Schultz hopefully has learnt from that one at the moment, as we're going to see people just sort of navigate their way back to the pack as we're on board with Darren McKenzie. He's in the 7th position. So Darren McKenzie is down 1 spot. He's in 8th now at the moment. He's down 1 spot. He started in 7th. Darren McKenzie, always one that usually wants to make his way up to the pointing end. He's just sitting in there at the moment, just letting everything unfold in front of him. But we're 3 laps into 100 now, and it's pretty calm by all the drivers. It's been really good driving so far. A long way to go, but we haven't seen any incident yet. But now I've said that, obviously I'm going to throw him under the bus as we go back to Aaron Dillon there. So Aaron Dillon, he's up 5. He started out of 17th. Aaron wouldn't have been happy with his qualifying position. Aaron always quick here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. So he's just trying to make his way back up, getting some track possession, and no doubt we'll see Aaron Dillon up a point at some stage in this race. But Brett Campbell making it 3 wide there, just in the background. Brett Campbell with the best Lightning McQueen livery that I have ever seen, made his way now up inside the top 10. So Brett Campbell just slowly moving forward here for round number 5, and he sits the 015 up into the top 10 at the moment. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, we've seen throughout the season Brett Campbell can get himself up there. It's just a matter of keeping those tyres, the tyre wear down as...
Darren McKenzie's 4 wide. Sorry, Ryan. I thought that could have ended up in absolute drama, but Darren McKenzie just got pinched on the outside line there and had nowhere to go. But have a look at this. 3 wide. The draft here at Autoclub Speedway. Jai Schultz is now up onto the outside line, leading the way there and trying to get the push. So how quickly does it change? We can see Raymond Yeager. He's up 11 positions, started in 16th. I can see him on my screen, your championship leader. He wasn't happy being down the pack, and Raymond Yeager, your championship leader in the 23, now moving up into the 4th position, and he's got a head full of steam as they make their way into 3 and 4 here at Autoclub Speedway.
Yeah, he's trying to make moves and to get himself up to Justin Witcher, who's just stolen the lead of the motor race. So those two will be working together to get the most amount of points there for Raymond, as we know he is the championship leader at the moment. But Jai Schultz is ranging on the back of Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager there. He's going to say different about that. He's going to try and steal the lead at the moment. Yeah. And
have a look at that outside line, Ryan. We just saw that as they went down the straight before we turned to that amazing camera. But Jamie Nankervis has now taken the lead. He's just dropped down in front of the Pinnacle Esports guys. So Jamie Nankervis, the Simshed Broadcasting back at number 18, taking the lead early, but he's going to have the Pinnacle Esports guys all over him, and he's going to be left out to dry here because he's got no teammates around him. So you can see Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager just using that draft and they're going to push right around the outside of Jamie Nankervis into 1 and 2 here at Autoclub. Jai Schultz has decided to join up just on the inside there and behind Jamie. So he's a little bit of a friend here early on for Jamie. That's Paul Jackson in the background as well. So Paul, who dropped down into the 8th or 9th position early doors in this one as we're lap 7. Paul Jackson in the 2-3-1 looking to move that car up to the point as there was nearly contact in the 3 and 4. But how good is this, Ryan? 7 laps, no caution as Paul Jackson now tries to make the move on Raymond Yeager. See whether he can lead a lap here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries, and he's going to get that done as he makes his way down the main straight for the 8th time of asking tonight.
Yeah, Paul sitting down the bottom there. We don't call him blocker for no reason, so he's going to be trying to steal the bonus point for leading a lap here and deny. That looks like Raymond Yeager there at the top there, so Raymond Yeager's trying to make a move on the outside there, but Paul will have the inside line here, and he will be hoping that Jai Schultz can get range on the back of him and push him across the line at the moment.
100% he will. Jai Schultz will help Paul Jackson there just on the inside line, but these Pinnacle Esports cars on the outside, just keep one eye on these guys. This is strategy 101. We can see what they're doing. They're going to be working together, just sitting there saving fuel. Brett Campbell now up inside the top 5. He's third back on that inside line, so he's making his way up here early on. We're about to go 1/10 race distance, ladies and gentlemen, next time across the strike, but Brett Campbell up into the 4th position. Is he going to make it 3 wide into turn 3 and 4? No, he's just going to sit in behind Jai Schultz. But Brett Campbell in the 015, great start, up 8 positions from his starting position, albeit a long time to go, but good start there by the 015 of Brett Campbell. That's allowed Paul Jackson. He's jumped up into the outside line and he's trying to work now with the Pinnacle Esports cars. Oh, as Brett Campbell gets a big little bit of a wobble there down the main straight. Good for him to hold on to it there, but Jai Schultz now leads the way, lap 10 into 100. So I think we've had about 7 lead changes already, only 10 laps in, Ryan.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a bit hairy now. Just praying that there's no caution at the moment. There's a bit of wiggle movement up on the high line there. So Brett's going to stay behind Jai there. Paul takes the lead momentarily at the moment. So it is getting a bit hairy. Just hoping there won't be a caution. We do want to go green to the end, but as soon as the caution flag comes out, all the strategy is thrown out the window.
Yeah, 100%. And you have a look at the drivers in the background, midfield. The whole field is still on your screen. Have a look at that. No one's lost the back of the toe. So it's still a 28-car field here racing for the win. These guys in the back that you see just rotating through, the likes of Nigel Payton, Greg Spencer, Steve Hoppert, Jared Daly, Pete Matson, just in the back of this. Don't write those guys off as we're early doors, because they could be sitting there back saving some fuel and saving some tyres. As Brett Campbell looking really racy there on the inside line as he just put his nose up the inside of Jai Schultz and thought better of it through turn number 3 and 4 as they make their way down the main straight once again. And we're going 3 wide, and it is Darren McKenzie going 3 wide around the outside, and he goes, boys, I want to lead this one, as the 02 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry makes it 3 wide into turn number 1 and 2 at Autoclub Speedway and tries to get the job done on Paul Jackson. So Darren McKenzie with a big run out of turn number 1 and 2. Good awareness there to check up and not hit the back of Paul Jackson, but he's going to give him a big push into 3 and 4 this time around, and Paul Jackson now leads the way into 3 and 4 as Darren McKenzie's really getting that high line hooked up, and he's going to drive around the outside of Paul Jackson. Paul's not going to give him much room there, but he gives him enough, and Darren McKenzie's going to possibly lead a lap here as he goes across the start-finish line, and we go lap 13 into 100, Ryan, and we've got another new leader.
Yeah, Darren's definitely trying to make moves at the moment. Have noticed that the Southern Stars of Andy Barber and Adam Malone aren't there to actually help him. So at the moment, it's just a single driver fight for the lead at the moment. So Paul Jackson is definitely looking to lead the most laps here. He's not wanting to let anyone pass him at the moment. So I'm interested to see how long he can hold the lead for and hold the front for until there is a caution.
Yeah, a bit of a different strategy here by Paul though, Ryan. Barry Neal, after starting off the pole position, he's all the way back in 18th at the moment. So Paul, sorry, I forgot his name for a second. I only speak to him like 4 times daily. But Paul just having, he's not going to have it his own way. He's got no teammates up here with him at the moment. So he's just going to try and navigate his way around as Darren McKenzie now with a big run out of turn number 1 and 2. And he's going to take the lead. But have a look who's sitting in behind him. The man I called earlier in the broadcast, Team Bushfink Racing 968, Sam Katakuznos. Always quick in everything he drives. He started out of the 15th position and now he makes his way up into P2 in this motor race. So Sam Katakuznos, don't write him off tonight. We're 14 into 100. He'll be there or thereabouts. It's Darren McKenzie, Sam Katakuznos and Paul Jackson, your top 3 across the line, 14 laps into 100 tonight here at Autoclub Speedway on the Sydney Sports Network.
Yeah, definitely interesting strategies I'm seeing here. That's all I can really grasp to talk about is everyone's so close and everyone's trying to save fuel. So Sam Katakuznos is pushing Darren McKenzie up the front, trying to make a move on the inside of him. We have mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Brett Campbell, he is up in the 4th position at the moment. He is looking very racy to try and get his Lightning McQueen Ford Mustang up into the lead. So my question is, will Brett be able to get a podium tonight? He certainly looks like it's possible.
It's definitely possible. Brett Campbell, he's due for a podium after coming off a Daytona win last year. He's definitely looking for a podium. In saying that, at the moment, he's just struggling on that inside line. He's probably overworking that right front tyre. So, Brett, if you are tuning into the broadcast, get up behind the guys, mate, and get a little bit of a draft and race later as we're 16 into 100. But he's definitely doing a good job. And now we've got another change for the leaders. Paul Jackson decides it's my turn to lead again, boys, and he's going to take the lead of this motor race out of turn number 3 and 4 here at Autoclub Speedway. Raymond Yeager's going to follow him through as well. So every lap it changes, Ryan. The strategy's all going to be different. We're not even into the pit stops yet. We haven't gone yellow. We're 17 into 100. Great driving by all the drivers. Hopefully it stays that way, but it is Paul Jackson leading the way through turns number 1 and 2 over Raymond Yeager.
Yeah, we do have to also remember last round they were on dirt where we did see the skills really show for these drivers, drive you on tarmac and then drive you on the dirt. So Raymond Yeager in the 4th position, certainly showing that he has the potential to get this championship and he is hungry for it.
100% he is, and he'll be the first to admit, I just cruised on, I'm not any good, but I'll tell you what, Raymond Yeager behind that 23 Pinnacle Esports entry, he is one good driver, and that's why you see him leading the championship at the moment as he's in behind Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie got the pass done on Raymond just a lap ago. Raymond's dropped back to the 5th position as Jamie Nankervis has decided to have another tilt at the front here in behind Sam Katakuznos. So Jamie Nankervis, he just sat a couple of laps ago and put himself back in the field, and he's gone, it's my time to drop the hammer and I want to come back up to the point. As you can see, Brett Campbell still just sitting there on the inside line in behind us. Paul Jackson getting a big push on the outside line by Darren McKenzie down the main straight. There, Paul's going to show the nose up the inside of Sam Katakuznos into turns number 1 and 2. Is he going to be able to make it clear into 1 and 2 this time around? As Darren McKenzie's on the outside there with Sam Katakuznos. Paul Jackson there holding that midline line, and he is going to get the lead once again here. Lap number 19 of 100 at Autoclub Speedway. Paul Jackson, Sam Katakuznos, Darren McKenzie, Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher, your 5. Justin Witcher being a little bit quiet here early, but don't write off him. He's the 2-time reigning champion here, and his teammate currently leading the series. So just keep one eye on Justin Witcher in the background as well there, Ryan, as Sam Katakuznos going to give Paul a big push down the main straight. How good are those pictures here on the Sim Esports Network? If you are tuning in, let us know how the audio is. Let us know whether you can hear us. Let us know how everything's going. Of course, have a chat with us because we like to have a chat with our viewers here on the Sim Esports Network. But Ryan, 20 laps in out of 100. No cautions as of yet. Very clean driving as we just see a few squiggles in the background. But how good is the action at Auto Club here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries?
Yeah, we haven't really seen a race this season where everyone is so close, so tight, and racing each other so hard. So we haven't gone caution the last 21 laps. So Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there will be a caution tonight, as we do see Brett Campbell in the third position, sneaking himself back up there. He won't be wanting to use he won't be wanting to wear those tyres out too much, and you did mention before, Aiden, about being a bit silent, so you did mention earlier in the broadcast that Ruben Phelps did comment, and he is sitting in the 13th position, so he's going to be wanting, both him and Tristan Koch will both be trying to get their way up to Brett Campbell there to assist him. So 22 coming across the line, 22 out of 100 at the moment. Jamie Nankervis does move on the inside there to take the race win, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out here.
Well, Jamie Nankervis didn't just take the race win 22 laps in, Ryan, but we'll see how we go. But Jamie Nankervis took the lead. Sorry, mate, I love throwing you under the bus. It is great. But Jamie Nankervis did take the lead this time around. You did make a good point, though, that Brett Campbell is going to have Ruben Phelps and Tristan Koch. They're going to try and make their way up and try and help Brett at the moment. Brett's sort of getting stuck on that low line. It's not going to be helping his tyre wear. He's got to get up off that inside line, because you're going to see in the next 5 or 6 laps, you're going to see the cars just completely concertina around the outside of him, and he's going to be an absolute sitting duck as you see that heading into turn number 1 and 2. And he's just going to be using that right front so much. So Brett Campbell, if you're watching, mate, get that car off the bottom line and follow the other cars and try and get into line. But there you go. We even give a bit of driving advice here on the InterSim Esports Network, albeit probably don't want driving advice from Schultzy, to be honest, Ryan. Would you agree?
It's a bit questionable. It does look like he has taken your advice. He's moved himself up to the high line, so maybe he just realised he might be using a bit too much tyre wear there. So I'm not sure how many sets of tyres they have here, but they'll be trying to save him throughout the whole race. We do know the Australasian Supercar eSeries, pretty much every round is a tyre wear game. So yeah, Brett Campbell's looking like he's going to get a really solid result here, which he has been looking forward to the whole season. So yeah, I'm excited to see how everything plays out, and we're only 24 out of 100, so
still a long way to go, as you mentioned, Ryan, but Brett Campbell on track to have a good result. That's Aaron Dillon and Troy Davidson on the outside of him from Simboys, so they're going to try and make their way up past Brett Campbell. And there we go again. We see Brett Campbell just getting stuck on that inside line as Paul Jackson's still leading the way, and he's got a little bit of a gap now over the field, albeit only 0.2 of a second. He made a little bit of a gap there over Jamie Nankervis, Sam Katakuznos, and Darren McKenzie from Southern Stars Esports Racing there on the outside, now moving his way up into the top 3. So Darren McKenzie now coming back to the point. Raymond Yeager's in behind him, as is Justin Witcher. So you can see that gap completely close there on Paul Jackson as Darren McKenzie goes, I'm going to go high line, see whether I can take the lead of the motor race again. He did this about 10 laps ago and he got the job done. We'll see whether it's the same this time across. Oh, as it looks like Justin Witcher just decided I'm lane changing midway through 3 and 4. That's why he's the champion. He is a great driver. But Darren McKenzie now down into 1 and 2. He's going to stick on that high side line and see whether he can get the job done on Paul. He's just struggling to get that rotated through the mid corner, so he's going to lose a little bit. He'll gain a bit on exit as we make their way down the back stretch, and there he goes. He's going to now go to the inside to take the lead of the motor race, and he'll clear Paul Jackson into turn number 3 and 4 here at Autoclub Speedway, and we've got another leader again. It's the 02 Southern Stars Esports entry of Darren McKenzie as Paul Jackson goes, mate, no, you're not doing it that easy. I'm coming straight up the inside and I'm going back to the point as they make their way down the main straight. We're 27 laps into 100 now as Paul Jackson decides to just turn hard right and go, I'm going to cover you off. And there's the big one. Jamie Nankervis in the fence. Troy Davidson a part of that as well. And there's the first big one of tonight, Ryan.
Yeah, that. I won't say it now, but I was just about to say that I do feel like there was going to be a caution. Jamie Nankervis there does look like he has some heavy damage, so no fast repairs for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, so it does look like he has motor damage, so this is pretty much curtains for Jamie Nankervis for this race. But at the moment, in first position is Paul Jackson, as we see on screen there, so he will be really thankful that he was not involved in that incident, and he will be the driver that will be taking the green flag on the restart. So good job for Paul Jackson, Darren McKenzie, Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher being up there in the top 4. So also got to mention Brett Campbell in 5th position. So we'll see how everything happens from the restart after everyone comes in the pit lane.
100% we will, Ryan, and we'll just go back to the instant replay and see what brought out your caution here tonight for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. You can see Jamie Nankervis, he's the second car back on the inside line. He's got Sam Katakouznos giving him a nice push into turns 3 and 4. It's all pretty good at the moment. We'll see Paul Jackson. It was actually down the main straight here, we saw Paul really go up to the high line to try and cover off on Darren McKenzie, who's the first car on the outside line there. But that's not where the accident is. It's Sam Katakouznos giving Jamie a big push. Brett Campbell makes it 3 wide. So there it is. Brett Campbell making contact with Sam Katakouznos there on the inside line. That just turned Sam a little bit straight into Jamie Nankervis, and Jamie was the unfortunate bystander there, and that is night over from Jamie Nankervis. So we might have put the commentator's curse on Brett Campbell there, but Brett, unfortunately, looks like he was the cause of that one. As we're going to go pit stoppers, Paul Jackson's doing his best Slim Shady impression with his picture down there in the bottom left-hand corner, Ryan. So I'm Paul Jackson. I'm the real Slim Shady. Will you please stand up? But Paul Jackson still leading the way here as they all dive into pit lane, 29 out of 100.
Yeah, as we can see, everyone's in the pit lane there taking their stops. So we'll see how the order works out over here. We can see in the pit lane that there are quite a few, a couple cars in there that are heavily damaged. So they won't be happy with what happened in their race. So Paul Jackson, Darren McKenzie. Actually, I do think someone jumped Garrett Daly,
Jared Daly, mate.
Yeah. Gerald Daly has snuck out the pit lane to be first position. So Paul Jackson, Darren McKenzie, Raymond Yeager is the remainder of the top 4 there. So Raymond Yeager's looking like he's doing really well tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just taken the opportunity. I know Jamie will be sitting there absolutely fuming, but I thought I'd bring him up into the broadcast booth and have a chat with him. Jamie Nankervis, mate, Schultze from the broadcast booth along with Ryan. Mate, great job there at the start of this one. We got quarter of the way through without a caution. Unfortunately, the innocent bystander in that one, mate, and it's pretty much been your season so far. But, mate, you were doing a great job there. Well inside the top 5, led a couple of laps, but just an innocent bystander in that one, mate.
Yeah, you're right, guys. I was just trying to mind my own business. I saw Brett coming up the middle there, so I've dropped down a little bit. Sam went to follow me, and Brett's come down into the pair of us, so not much we can do about it.
Yeah, we saw that. He just got into the outside rear quarter of Sam Katakouznos there, and it just put Sam a little bit off and put it up into the side of your car. And at 300 kilometres an hour here at a supercar at Autoclub Speedway, just one little touch in the wrong direction, you're just a passenger, and that's exactly what we saw tonight.
Yeah, for sure, guys. We're just trying to stay out of trouble up the front there, but it's, as you said, it seems to find me at the moment, so that's what it is.
Mate, you go through your runs. I know what that feeling is, but good to see you up here in the booth anyway, mate. Good to have a chat to you. Good to see you going again before the guys go green. Big shout out to everyone involved. Jamie Nankervis's sim racing career, mate. So a big shout out to everyone involved, mate, part of your team while you're up here in the booth.
Yeah, just a big shout out to Momentum Motorsports at the moment. They're really trying to help me along and trying to get me towards the front and get out of trouble. So the guys in Australia and the US and Canada, we've got a big team going there at the moment, just trying to get everything together. So big shout out to them.
Well, mate, no doubt it'll be sooner rather than later. We'll be talking to you here on the Sim Esports Network broadcast booth with Jamie Nankervis up in the top 3 and talking to us under better conditions. But Jamie, we're just about to go green. Thank you for your time tonight, and hopefully we see you up here in the broadcast booth next week in a better occasion.
No worries. Good luck, guys.
Well, we're green again, Ryan. We've gone green after Jamie just gave him his time up here in the broadcast booth. And Paul Jackson again leading the way into turn number 1 and 2. So it's reset, it's go again. Brett Campbell's gone to the back. He obviously got damage out of that. So I think we've gone commentator's curse 101, Ryan. And he's going to hate every little bit of it. But that's exactly what I love. So Brett Campbell's going to hate that. because he was saying I'm going to put the commentator's curse on him, but he's at the back at the moment. But now Raymond Yeager decides to have the lead, or take the lead with Justin Witcher. So now it's your reigning two-time champion in second and your current series leader in first as the Pinnacle Esports guys go straight back up to the lead of this one, Ryan.
Yeah, Pinnacle Esports 1-2, like you've just said at the moment.
Oh, as Paul Jackson just wants to change lanes through there, Ryan. I think something's going to happen here. I can feel it. Paul Jackson's really racy. He's going to go 3 wide into turn number 1 and 2. Paul Jackson, he wants to talk to us here on the Sim Esports Network broadcast booth. He's in it most weeks. He goes, no, I want to talk to it about my driving as we go 3 wide down the back stretch. This is seriously great racing by all involved, Ryan.
Yeah, but as we can see there, Paul Jackson in the lead there, so he's not taking anyone's, he's not letting anyone past him. So we do see Justin Witcher, the 2-time series champion. He is trying to make some moves from the inside. So as we are also looking at Raymond Yeager, also is trying to get his he's trying to get his way up into the first position there, just sitting behind Paul Jackson. Yeah, I'm getting a bit excited, a bit too excited that...
mate, you've been hanging around me too long, mate. I get excited on lap number 1 when we've got 100 to go. So don't apologise for getting too excited. It brings all the action to the viewers. Phil Otto, thank you for tuning in. To you, mate. Good to see you tuning in on the Sim Esports Network. How good is this? Paul Jackson leading the way still through turn number 3 and 4. Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager still working together. They're now in separate lines as Sam Katakouzounos is in behind Justin Witcher on the inside line there. So the Pinnacle Esports guys have been broken up. But have a look, Darren McKenzie goes, I'm just going to split you down the middle and I'm going to go to the lead here at 1 and 2. So Darren McKenzie goes back to the point here for the 0-2 Southern Stars Esports entry as they make their way down the back straight for the 34th time. And Paul Jackson now getting a big push there by Raymond Yeager on the outside. And Darren McKenzie, we're going to go 3 wide into 3 and 4. Jai Schultz almost making it 4 wide there. How good is that into 3 and 4? But Darren McKenzie still holding the middle line. He's going to get swamped here. And we're going 4 wide out of turn number 4, if you don't mind. 4 wide down the main straight at Autoclub Speedway. And Raymond Yeager takes the lead down into turn number 1 and 2. How good is that?
It's getting really hairy, I'm going to admit that. So, yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to go 4 wide through the entire corner, thank God, because they were going to crash if they continued. So it's a Raymond Yeager, Darren McKenzie drag race with a little bit of...
Sam Katakouzounos with the big run in the background there, Ryan. Sorry to cut you off. Sam Katakouzounos with the big run down the back straight there into 3 and 4 here at Autoclub Speedway. But how good was that action? 4 wide into turn number 1 and 2, 35 laps into 100. They don't mind sending it, but how good was that? 4 wide here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. They're trying to do it again into 1 and 2, and Paul Jackson goes, I'm going to go to the point. So he's trying to make the move now down the inside of Darren McKenzie. He's not going to be clear there on the inside line, so that's going to allow Darren McKenzie and Sam Katakouzounos on that high line to get a good draft down the back straight as they make their way into 3 and 4. But I tell you what, 36 into 100, I'm already losing my breath. I'm getting over the fact they just went 4 wide and didn't end up in the fence as Paul Jackson just slides right up into the front of Darren McKenzie, and Darren goes, no, Paul, I'm going down the inside, and Darren McKenzie's going to go back to the front.
Yeah, usually it would only be the last 20 laps where everything gets a bit hairy, so they've grabbed that piece of paper, crumpled it up and thrown it out the window. So 37 out of 100 at the moment with 37% through the race. So Darren McKenzie's not waiting for Paul Jackson to make a mistake here. He's making the moves to try and get the lead in this motor race, but Paul Jackson living up to his name, the blocker. He's blocking there. He's using all the blocking skills he can.
He has done that, Ryan. That was really good. And I actually liked your 37% comment there, mate. You're a smart bloke, mate. 37 out of 100. I wouldn't have thought to say 37% for the race as much as you're 100% correct. So well done there. But Paul Jackson definitely using the blocking there on Darren McKenzie. You see him sort of sitting through the mid-track there through 1 and 2. And he'll just drift up in front of Darren McKenzie. But Darren is playing the smart game at the moment. He's going to know what Paul's doing. as in saying that, he wants to go to the inside. Oh, as there's contact down the back straight, but they keep going. So, as I said that, then Darren McKenzie just slides straight up in front of Paul Jackson and says, what you can do, mate, I can do better in the 3 and 4 here at Autoclub Speedway, as Paul Jackson then comes back and repays the favour. So it's a yo-yo here at the front. Sam Katakusnos is loving what he's seeing in front of him at the moment, going, go on, boys, you have a bit of a trundle. Let's see more contact down the main straight between your leaders into 1 and 2. No love lost between the 2-3-1 of Paul Jackson and the 0-2 of Darren McKenzie here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. We're only 39 into 100, ladies and gentlemen. Are you kidding me? Down the back straight here at Autoclub, Ryan.
Yeah, they say rubbing is racing, but my God, they're less than 40 laps into the race and they're already banging doors. So this is really setting the tone for the rest of the race. If they're bumping now, they'll be bumping through the next 60 laps. So, man, no, I'm excited.
As we see a car just blink out there on the inside, that was Barry Neal by the looks of it too. So Barry's finally made his way up to help his teammate Paul Jackson. So Auto Racing out of New Zealand, 1 and 2 at the moment. They've finally been able to join up. Barry Neal, after starting off the pole position, has slowly made his way back up, and he's engaged there with Paul Jackson and able to help him, as Sam Katakusnos has given Darren McKenzie a big push there on the outside. But Barry Neal's got some pace here, and he's just going to leave his teammate Paul Jackson absolutely standing still, and it's going to be Auto Racing 1-2 across the line this time. But you've got to remember, pit strategy, tyre strategy. Did they take tyres? They only had one over the wall. So did they take them last time around? Was Barry the one that took them? Is that why he's moving up into the field? We can't see that on the pit transit time because it was under caution. So we can't see that. But Barry Neal now leading the way, 41 to 100. Darren McKenzie still holding fast there on the outside with Sam Katakusnos. Is going to give him a big nudge down the back straight. And Jai Schultz is going, we're going 3 wide into 3 and 4. So Jai Schultz in the 27 DSL Welding Services back car going for the lead of the motor race, making it 3 wide through 3 and 4 here at Autoclub Speedway. But I tell you what, Ryan, I can't keep up, mate. It's every time I try and commentate on something, there's a new driver and we're going 3 wide once again. Over to you.
Yeah, and if you don't mind me saying this, but in the 6th position, 19 positions from the starting grid, Ruben Phelps, he's making moves and he is making them fast. So Paul Jackson would be a little bit scared not scared at the moment. He does have his teammate Barry Neal there, but their heart rate will be beating really quick at the moment, if that's the right language to use for it. But they're 3 wide.
Paul Jackson, Darren McKenzie in the fence. Oh. And we're still green. Darren McKenzie's gone. His engine's gone. Paul Jackson's put out of that one pretty much unscathed. That was not nice. So Darren McKenzie's night's over. We'll be talking to him very shortly, no doubt. His engine has gone kaboom as Paul Jackson's made contact with Darren McKenzie. We'll go back to the replay and see what brought that out very, very shortly. But Jai Schultz now getting a good run on Barry Neal down the back stretch, and he's going to take the lead over Barry Neal. But there we go. A little bit of contact there, Ryan, and that's night over for Darren McKenzie in the 02 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry.
Yeah, we can see something was going to happen there. That Paul Jackson and Darren McKenzie there were getting a bit, banging the doors a bit there, rubbing his racing. But yeah, we saw that coming from a mile away. So we did not go yellow, no cars spun. So that is pretty much not over for Darren McKenzie. His engine's destroyed. So now it's up to Barry Neal and Jai Schultz to fight over the race lead at the moment, as Sam Katakusnos and Ruben Phelps are joining. So yeah, we'll see what happens for the remainder of 44 out of 100 laps at Autoclub Raceway.
Yeah, 100%. And the person that got away with that one was Paul Jackson in the 2-3-1. I can see Darren McKenzie in pit lane. We'll bring him up into the broadcast booth as we still watch this battle here for the lead of the motor race. We'll have a chat with Darren. He's not going to be in the best of moods, so we'll just bear with me here. We'll bring him up into the broadcast booth. But we've put him up into the broadcast booth. Darren McKenzie, the 02 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. Mate, I tell you what, trading paint there with Paul Jackson. There was definitely no love lost there, and unfortunate that the 02 got up into the outside wall after contact with Paul there, and that's night done by the looks of it.
Yeah, I'm not happy at the moment. It was, stupid move by Paul, so...
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't be happy, so we won't keep you long, mate. Didn't mean to bring you up here unannounced, but we do that. But, mate, just while you relax a little bit in pit lane, it was a good night out. You were getting that top line working really well there in the 02, and it seemed like it was working, and the guys went pretty clean for the first 26 laps, which was really surprising. Some 3 and 4 wide action, so of course terrible that you ended up in the fence for no fault of your own tonight, but mate, you're getting that outside line working pretty well early. How were you feeling in the 02?
Car had plenty of pace. If it wasn't for dirty team tactics, I would have had a little bit of something for him at the end.
Yeah, mate, unfortunately that's racing, and we can tell you're a little bit hot under the collar at the moment. You just want to go down and just chill out, so we'll put you back up with your teammate Andy, mate, but unfortunate tonight. No doubt we'll be talking to you here on the Sim Esports Network broadcast booth under better conditions next week.
No worries.
Well, there we go, Ryan. Darren McKenzie, not a happy camper here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries, but how good is that? You get to get them while they're in the heat of the moment, and Darren McKenzie, not a happy camper here.
Yeah, he has the adrenaline pump and he's not going to be happy. Well, he is not happy with that incident with Paul Jackson. He does feel like Paul was at fault for that, but on to the motor race now. Barry Neal and Paul Jackson are 1-2 at the moment. They are taking control of the field at the moment, Sam Katakusinos, Ruben Phelps, and a lot more drivers at the moment here do have a solid crack at getting the lead here, so everything is so close the entire race, so we'll see how team tactics and it goes here, as we have been going 3 wide for the last few laps, the last 48 laps out of 100.
Yeah, well, don't ride Ruben Phelps there on the inside line there in 3rd place, just pushing Barry Neal there on the inside line. It's a Kiwi 1-2-3. We've got Sam Katakusinos, the first Aussie. He's making a drive around the outside, but don't ride off Ruben Phelps, an absolute sensational driver, ex-teammate of mine. He'll be there or thereabouts, I'd suggest, at the end of this one, as we make their way, or as they make their way rather, out of turn number 1 and 2, as we're 3 wide down the back stretch again. Ruben's going to give Barry a big push on that inside line. Have a look who's coming on that middle line in behind Paul Jackson. It's none other than Pete Matson, the Ray White Rural Gander entry. We haven't spoken about him a lot tonight, but we've nearly gone half race distance as Pete Matson now just chops down on the inside and covers off on Jai Schultz as we go 3 wide again here at Autoclub down the main straight.
Yeah, 50 out of 100, halfway, 50% through the race. They are 3 wide, 3 rows of 3 wide action here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. We've only seen 1 caution so far, but these guys are racing a lot closer, and the chances of another caution are spiking up right now. So Sam Katakusinos, Todd Maxfield, Paul Jackson, and Barry Neal in your top 4. They aren't waiting, they aren't being patient, they're just going for it. So can't wait until the last 20 laps of the race where everything really heats up. We haven't seen anything yet.
No, 100% we haven't, Ryan, as Todd Maxfield's now gone to the point of the motor race. So Todd Maxfield, he started out of 9th position. Haven't spoken about him a lot tonight already, but we've gone half race distance and he decides that his time to come up and lead a lappers. But that outside line is working really well. Sam Katakusinos still staying up on that outside line, and they're getting a big push down the outside now, and you're going to almost see 3 cars clear Barry Paul Jackson there. But Paul Jackson, the man of contention after that incident, obviously come away a little bit scot-free. We can't say the same for Darren McKenzie, and he's still racy, trying to fight for the podium here, 51 into 100, as he's now got his teammate in behind him on that inside line. But Sam Katakusinos getting a big push by Cade Donnelly. Cade Donnelly, a man that's had many wins here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries through the first couple of series. Cade Donnelly now up into that outside line, and he's bringing himself into contention. He's going to give Sam Katakusinos a big push down the back straight. He just winds out that throttle a little bit because you can see that he could have pushed Sam there, but he just backed out of it. So Cade Donnelly thinking long game here. He has seen how this race has unfolded in front of him. He's now put himself into a good position, going just over half race distance, 52 and 100 in the second. He'll be letting Sam Katakuznos use all his fuel at the front, and Cade Donnelly will just sit in behind him and try and make his way and try and undercut on the pit stop if we do go green flag. But there is still a long way to go. Gary Wellman, Barry Neal, Tristan Koch up into P5 if you don't mind. Tristan Koch on that outside line, fourth car back. He's up into P5. He's got Jai Schultz in behind him as well. So Tristan Koch with a good drive. The Aute Autocars are sort of getting sitting ducks there on the middle line. They've now moved back to 6th and 7th and 8th position on track. So Paul Jackson and Barry Neal just getting a little bit trapped there and moving backwards. But just in saying that, Barry Neal making that inside line work as we now go 53 into 100 down the main straight here at Autoclub Speedway, and it is Cade Donnelly now taking the lead over Gary Wellman. So we're going to see the Sim Boys cars work together a little bit now, I would suggest, with Sam Katakuznos dropping back to fourth on that outside line. Barry Neal still being persistent on the inside line, trying to get that to work, but he's got no one to help him, and you're going to see that outside line completely drive straight past. But now we've got Gary Wellman going. There's no team orders here, and I'm going to take the lead over Cade Donnelly into 3 and 4, Ryan.
Yeah, Sim Boys have been flying under our radar all race. We've only mentioned them a few times in this broadcast, but they've definitely shown that they are thinking now's the time to get into the lead and start collecting those bonus points. So, yeah, a lot of team strategy here from Sim Boys. Southern Stars, Darren McKenzie no longer at the top there. Andy Barber sitting back in top position. And, Sim Boys is the only really team strategy getting played out in the front there other than Paul Jackson and Barry Neal, but they've been separated for a bit. So, yeah, Sim Boys are definitely looking racy now. They're going to try and get their way up in the front as we've seen them in the last few laps. So, yeah, I'm getting really excited to see how all of this plays out.
Yeah, Barry Neal's got the job done now. He's decided to take the lead, but the Sim Boys that you mentioned, they have no team orders. They'll be the first to say that, and they are tuning in on the broadcast. But I don't know how they're doing that while racing, but they've got no team orders. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this mid-section or mid to three-quarter section of the race out. But Barry Neal now has got the biggest gap that we have seen here for round number 5 with the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. It is 0.4 of a second. It's just trying to get the cars out of the tow at the moment. So Barry Neal is in the lead. Gary Wellman and Jai Schultz back up there again as well. So the Lesser Schultz now made his way back up into 3rd position in this one as well. So don't write off Jai Schultz. You did mention, of course, also Andy Barber. We can't write him off. He'll be sitting there in 11th position, just biding his time and letting it all play out. So don't be surprised if we see Andy Barber as we're on board with him now in the 05 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. Don't be surprised if we see him up here contending for podium spots when we get to lap 100 here at Autoclub Speedway, as he gets a good run around the outside of Raymond Yeager down the back straight, Ryan. So good driving by everyone at the moment, but it is still Barry Neal leading the way over Jai Schultz, Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly and Pete Matson in 5.
Yeah, we did just mention Andy Barber there sitting in 11th place as we are watching him just sitting there in the high line. Pretty conservative at the moment. I did speak to him earlier today, and he did mention to me that both the Southern Stars do want to get a nice, clean and consistent race tonight. So they aren't looking for getting, they're not looking out for getting in the mix up the front there. They're just sitting back in the mid-pack, just collecting all the points they can after last round's point haul from both Darren, Adam and Andy there. So yeah, excited to see how he's going to play his strategy out and see if he can get his Southern Stars up into the podium position, as we do see Ruben Phelps is getting a bit close at the front there. So I will need Aiden Neal need to come in for a moment as I can think about it.
No, you're right, mate. No worries. You're going to do what you need to do. But it still is Barry Neal, Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, your first three. But on to Ruben Phelps, on board with him at the moment. He's in 6th. We've just gone back to Cade Donnelly and to Ruben Phelps in 6th position. So he's getting a run on the inside of Jai Schultz down into 3 and 4. Jai Schultz doing a good job tonight. He's really making that high line work. He was right up the front early. Ruben Phelps now making that low line work for him, and he's going to clear Jai out of turns number 3 and 4 and go right onto the back of Sam Katakouznos as they make their way across the stripe for the 60th time tonight. So already 60 of 100. It's going quicker than I can speak. Barry Neal's also being caught now in the front. So Gary Wellman and Kate Donnelly have ranged right up onto the back of your leader, Barry Neal. This has pulled Pete Matson into this battle as well. There in the Ray White Rural Gander entry in 4th. Sam Katakouznos there in 5th. Ruben Phelps getting the job done on Sam, and Ruben's going to jump straight up into the outside line and go, Sam, no, you're not going around there, as they make their way through 3 and 4 this time around. Let's go on board with the 06 of Ruben Phelps here at Autoclub Speedway. Ruben Phelps out of New Zealand. Let's go on board for a couple of laps in the thick of the action with Ruben Phelps here at the Inter Esports Network. And how's that look, ladies and gentlemen? On board with the 06 of Ruben Phelps. This is supercar racing at its best on ovals. Not the way that you usually see the supercars race, but how good is the racing? As Pete Matson, you can see on the inside there, trying to get the job done on Gary Wellman. He's not going to be able to get that job done. That's allowed Ruben Phelps to get a good run down the back straight. And how good are those cameras here on the InterSim Esports Network? A big thank you to Pete, doing an absolute sensational job up there on the cameras. But Ruben Phelps now up into the 2nd position, and he's going to be chasing down Barry Neal. Barry's led probably the last 10 laps of this. He's looked a lot faster, but I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be where Barry is at the moment if I'm in the car, because they're all using him as a little bit of a segue, a little bit of a point of where they need to be, and they're just sitting in there waiting as we've got a long way to go. 63 now into 100. Who's going to get that one? That's going to be the question of the night, Ryan, if you're back with me.
Yeah, and we do see that there are a few people in pit lane now, exiting the pit lane now. We've just missed that. Josh Schultz still in the pit lane at the moment, sitting in his pit stall, but up the front there, everyone is looking really racy right now. Barry Neal, Ruben Phelps, just out the front there. We can see at the moment there are drivers coming into the pit lane, so we are getting close to when everyone's going to come transit through the pit lane. We'll see if the strategies really play out, and we'll see how well they manage their tyres. Yeah, green flag pit stops at the moment are the true to the night right now. Josh Schultz was the first one to blink, so they came in lap 28, which was under caution. So with only 26 to go, Josh Schultz is good to go to the end. So this is interesting. This is where the strategy plays out as Ruben Phelps now makes the move for the lead, and he's going to lead a lap for the first time tonight. It's taken him 64 of 100, but Ruben Phelps out of New Zealand. This is a Kiwi 1-2 as they go side by side down the main straight. But green flag pit stops. Paul Jackson's decided to come into pit lane as well. So in the next couple of laps, we're about to see where the strategies play out and where everyone's going to fall through this green flag pit stop period, Ryan. So a lot to play out yet. Gary Wellman still holding fast there on the outside line. He's still got Kay Donnelly, his teammate, just in behind him as well. Don't write off Sam Katakouznos just in the background there in 6 as well. So he's just sitting there. But no one else coming in the pit lane. You can see Andy Barber sitting there in 9th position as well. He's just waiting. Jared Daly's not one that we've really spoken about all night. He hasn't really been up there in the Australasian Supercar eSeries. The man that's only new to the Australasian Supercar eSeries, but Jared Daly, great job inside the top 10 here. 68 now into 100, right? Yeah, I must say Jared and Pete Matson's cars look very similar, so both Ray White Rural Gander sponsored cars there, but he is sitting in the 10th position there, 11 places up from his starting position, just sitting there behind Andy Barber. So he's having a really good result there. The first time I've seen him in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and he's killing it at the moment. Yeah, he's been in a couple of rounds, but he hasn't had the best results
but he's now doing a good job moving these 802 car inside the top 10, albeit we've got now Pete Matson and Aaron Dillon in pit lane as well, so they're the next two drivers to blink and come in and serve their final pit stop tonight as they can make it to the end. We'll see where that puts Dry Schultz, because Dry Schultz was the first one to blink into pit lane, so we'll see where he comes out as opposed to the likes of Aaron Dillon, etc. We can see Pete Matson in pit lane, Justin Witcher and Raymond Yeager's coming to pit lane on lap 61 as well. So Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher have made their pit stop. They are up the road, about 4 seconds up the road from the man on your screen at the moment, Jai Schultz. As Barry Neal now comes into pit lane out of the lead of the motor race, as does Pete Matson. It's still Ruben Phelps, Gary Wellman and Cade Donnelly at the front. But this is where we just need to settle down a bit and see where all this plays out, because there's drivers coming into pit lane. Barry Neal, Pete Matson, as I just said, they've done their pit stop. Still on board with Jai Schultz. He's sitting back in the 17th, but that's not where he's going to end up in this one as the pit lane strategies do play out. That is Paul Jackson just in front of him at the moment as well. Greg Spencer from Pinnacle Esports. We haven't spoken about him at all tonight, and he's still there. He's good to go to the end, last pitted on lap 61. So Greg Spencer doing a great job. We'll see where he ends up. But this little group here are slowly ranging up onto the back of Pete Matson in front as well. So now Kobe Jordan, Andy Barber, Tristan Koch, Ruben Phelps, everyone in pit lane. Barry Neal still in pit lane by the looks of it. He's now out of pit lane. He had a long stop, 33.7 seconds, so that's not going to help Barry Neal. But Pete Matson on board now. He's done his pit stop. He's looking good. He does have 1.5 seconds up the road. You can see that there. That is Raymond Yeager and Justin Witcher. They're probably going to take the lead of this motor race as all the rest of them come in. Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly, Todd Maxfield, Sam Catacuznos, Jared Daly, Nicholas Walsh, Kobe Jordan. Everyone is into pit lane. So that's the final of the green flag pit stops, and this is where it's really going to see where this strategy has played out. Is it going to be the Pinnacle Esports entries? Are they going to take the lead of this motor race as they make their way through turn number 1 and 2? We're going to find out just in the next couple of seconds. As you can see, Sam Catacuznos there, Andy Barber there on the inside. That's him coming out of pit lane. He's going to be taken over by Pete Matson by the looks of it. So Andy Barber's now moved up into the 3rd position, but Pete Matson's now taken that position off him as well. Ruben Phelps just in behind Andy Barber. So just one more lap to go around, and we're going to see everything sort of go status quo. Pete Matson's going in, so he's got to stop and hold. Pete Matson's got a penalty, so that's moved him out of the contention of this lead of the motor race. So that's Pete Matson out of this one, as he's going to serve a penalty here, 70 into 100. But there we go. It's all changing now, and it is Justin Witcher, Raymond Yeager and Andy Barber, your top 3 here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. Is Andy Barber. You can see him in behind. He pitted on lap 68 as opposed to Witcher and Yeager on 61. So Andy Barber is going to have a lot fresher tyres. What a strategy. What a masterstroke by the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, Andy Barber. And he's now put himself in contention to win this one with 30 to go, Ryan.
Yeah, Justin Witcher, Raymond Yeager will definitely be trying to work together to keep Andy Barber behind them. But yeah, Andy Barber, bold strategy call, well not bold strategy call, and very good strategy call from the Southern Stars entry. Have noticed that, as we have seen, Darren McKenzie's at the race, and it does look like Adam Malone is too. So here's the lone Southern Stars entry here, so he is making moves and he is in contention for the race win at the moment. We are only 71 laps out of 100, 71% as I should say. So yeah, it's pretty close up the front. The whole strategy throughout the race from the caution, it's all come down to now. So yeah, 29 laps to go. So Ruben Phelps has something to say about that too. So it's going to be a very big fight up the front.
Yeah, it's going to be a four-way battle at the moment for the lead of the motor race, but just keep one eye on that gap between Sam Katakuzanos in fifth as we stay on board with this battle. Ruben Phelps there on the outside line. Who's Ruben going to want to work with tonight? Is he going to work with Andy Barber to try and get those two guys up as Andy Barber makes the move down the inside through turns number 3 and 4, and he's going to lead his first lapper tonight, the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry of Andy Barber as he makes his way across the strike lap. 72 of 100. 28 to go this time across the strike, and it is the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry of Andy Barber leading the way. But it looks like we've gone caution, have we? No, we're still racing. So I thought we were going caution, but it looked like Andy was slowing down there. He was just getting caught out with the draft. So he's now just going to drop back in behind this group. It looks like he's doing that on purpose, to be honest with you there, Ryan. He's just backed out of the throttle and said, righto, boys, you can go. I'll fight you in another 20 laps. Yeah,
I did mention before, he is looking for a very nice score of points while keeping a safe position. So he's chosen the no-risk strategy for this race. So it does look like it's paid out. Pinnacle Esports, Southern Stars, and I'm not sure what Ruben Phelps' team is.
Ruben now runs for East Coast Motorsport, Jamie Nankervis' teammate, but they're different teammates in different things. So not quite sure from Phelpsy there out of New Zealand, but we do know that Ruben Phelps and Andrew Barber, or Andy Barber, are the only two in this front four that don't have teammates with them. You do see the Pinnacle Esports entries of Justin Butcher and Raymond Yeager leading the way. So they're going to use their teamwork. So it is your reigning two-time champion and your current championship leader, 1 and 2. But we go back to Gary Wellman in 5th. So these drivers are ranging right up onto the back of the lead of this motor race. So that's now down to 0.7 of a second. That's Todd Maxfield from Simboys as well in there in 6th position. Cade Donnelly in 7th. So Simboys there. And then Sam Katakuzanos just on the outside. Good evening to you, Aaron Dillon, mate. Thank you for tuning in on the Indosim Esports Network. Good to see you here, legend, having a tune in. Unfortunate, mate, mustn't have been the night for you. Unfortunate to see you in pit lane, but good to see you tuning in here on the broadcast. But now it's becoming a 10-car or 9-car battle for the lead of the motor race, Ryan, with 75 into 100. They've all caught up to this lead group, and we're about to go 2 or 3 wide in the next couple of laps again, I strongly suggest. So this is going to be interesting. Justin Witcher, being the man at the front, is the pioneer. He's happy to sit at the front at the moment. He'll be working with Raymond Yeager to drag him to the win. This is exactly what's happening. Justin Witcher not in the championship from a points perspective in coming into round 5. Raymond Yeager, the current championship leader in 2nd. So that's exactly what's happening here. Justin Witcher's playing the team game, and he's trying to pull Raymond Yeager up to a solid result here to see whether he can retain his championship lead heading into round number 6 next week as Raymond Yeager right in behind Justin Witcher. But I tell you what, Ruben Phelps is going to have something to say about this one as well, as will Gary Wellman as he goes around the outside. So the teamwork here at the front, Ryan, between the Pinnacle guys, I tell you what, they don't need to worry about that at the moment because there's a lot of people that are going to have a play a part in this one, and that's going to be Gary Wellman at the moment as he goes down the back straight around the outside, and he's going to try take the lead with Andy Barber sitting right up in behind him as well. Andy's got Cade Donnelly in behind him as well on the outside line, so a lot to play out. 77 into 100, how good is this?
Yeah, this is awesome. It's rapidly becoming a Simboys in the Pinnacle Esports race at the moment, team-wise. So they are getting a bit hairy at the moment. It is pretty close to 20 laps to go. So this is the critical time of the race where these drivers will be racing hard, get to the end and get the best position they can. Amazing camera work from Peter behind the cameras at the moment. The lights the lights lighting up the circuit, looking beautiful over all the liveries there. So Justin Witcher, Raymond Yeager at the moment taking control of the field with Gary Wellman there in 3rd position. He'll be waiting for his teammates to get up to him and see if they can steal the win off the Pinnacle, steal the lead, should I say, over the Pinnacle Esports drivers there.
Yeah, exactly right, Ryan. One person I'm just keeping one sneaky eye on, and it's the man Sam Katakuzanos in the 8th position in the 968 car. Just keep one eye on this wily old fox. Sam Katakuzanos, a great driver, He will be managing his race. He loves his racing. Don't write off Sam Katakuznos. He's just sitting back there on the 968 Team Bushfink Racing entry, and he's going to make his way up to the point in the next couple of laps. Don't be surprised as we're about to go lap 80 into 100 that in the next 3 or 4 laps we see the 968 of Sam Katakuznos make his way up to the front and have a little bit of a look at the front and just test out these drivers and go, okay, as we've got 20 laps to go, I'm going to see how you guys are going to race at the back end. So he might test his finish now, but don't write off the 968 of Sam Katakuznos. But Gary Wellman has now gone to the point over Ruben Phelps as they make their way down the back straight. There's Sam Katakuznos, Gary Wellman, Ruben Phelps, Andy Barber in the third position as well, as I'm choking on my own spit. Here. So, Andy Barber still in third position. Cade Donnelly in fourth as well. So, Ryan, I'll hand over to you. I'll just walk away for a second, mate, and catch my breath, and I'll be back with you shortly.
Gary Wellman's looking like he's taking control of the field at the moment. Obviously, you can see on the screen there. So, he'll be looking to stay there and maintain position there. With Ruben Phelps closely following behind him, and Andy Barber. He's been a bit of a sneaky boy throughout this race. He's there sitting in third position. And Cade Donnelly is looking to be trying. Cade Donnelly there behind Andy Barber. There, looking like he's trying to get the job done. So, 20 laps to go of this motor race, and these guys are. Yep. Sorry, I'm lost for words at the moment.
You're all right, mate. I'm back with you. Paul Jackson now up into the 8th position, mate. So Paul Jackson, after getting into that little bit of an incident earlier with Darren McKenzie, him and Barry Neal are now coming back into this motor race late on. 82 into 100, Alte Auto Racing of Paul Jackson and Darren McKenzie. Paul Jackson and Barry Neal, 7th and 8th on track at the moment. Raymond Yeager dropped back to 10th position while I was away there as well. So Raymond Yeager, he's going to drop a bag of points at the moment in 10th. So it's definitely anyone's as they make their way down the main straight. They're about to take 83 of 100. It's going to be Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, Todd Maxfield leading them across the strike with the Sim Boys 1, 2, 3 with just 17 laps to go, Ryan.
Yeah, they're getting really close. We can't not talk about Justin Witcher sitting at the back there of the pack. He does look like he's just maintaining his position there in 9th position. If there is any crashes or another caution, it is going to jumble up the field here, but they are getting pretty close there. Barry Neal taking the lead of the motor race with Paul Jackson closely trying to follow. So we are 3 wide at the moment going across the line for lap 84 going into turn 1 and 2. So the high line is working well.
Barry Neal just really blinked out there, so Paul Jackson would have had a heart attack. He's nearly got into his teammate there through turns number 1 and 2. So that was not ideal by Alte Auto Racing there, as Barry Neal had a big blink out there. Paul Jackson would have had eyes the size of dinner plates. So that's pushed them back now. But it still is Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman, a Sim Boys 1-2. Unfortunate to you tonight, Aaron Dillon. I see you tuning in again, mate, and commenting. Lap down from first crash, then black flag for speeding, mate. I've told you before, mate, no speeding in pit lane, mate. But that's unfortunate. You had a really strong car tonight, but good to see the Sim Boys cars up there contending for the win here tonight. We're 85 into 100, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone tuning in on the IndaSim Esports Network. Go get yourself your favourite beverage. Go get yourself a little bit of a nibble to eat, because we're 15 laps to go and we're about to see some of the best supercar racing on ovals that you're about to see here at Autoclub Speedway, as Barry Neal, Paul Jackson down the inside as we're 3 wide in the 3 and 4 as Paul Jackson tries to make a lunge for the lead of this motor race as they make their way out of 3 and 4. Have a look at this battle. We're going to go 3 wide down the main straight here at Autoclub Speedway once again for the 86th time.
The high line there is working really well. We do see Paul Jackson and Barry Neal getting the bottom there. They have been working together throughout the race here, so their team strategy will be playing really well at the moment. We'll see how they can play out at the last few laps of the race, but yeah, it's a critical part of the race now where all the pit stops are done and all their strategies, they'll be hoping that their tyres will be lasting, they'll be making sure that they can get to the end, and they'll be racing hard for that checkered flag.
100%, mate. It is absolutely gloves off here at the front here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. Strategy doesn't come into play anymore. It's a 15-car battle. Who is going to take the win here for round number 5? We are about to find out in the next 14 laps as we're still 3 wide through turn number 1 and 2, and it's still a Simboys 1-2. Gary Wellman, Kay Donnelly, Ruben Phelps in 3rd, Todd Maxfield in 4th, Andy Barber in 5th as they make their way down the back straight once again for the 87th time of asking. Those Simboys cars on the outside doing a great job just holding that line up. Ruben Phelps trying to get that inside line working. He's going to clear Gary Wellman, I'd suggest, out of turns number 3 and 4. Now, look at those pictures as we go 3 wide. Ruben Phelps, is he going to lead across the line? No, he won't. It'll still be Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman as they make their way down the main straight once again. Don't ride off Sammy Kay. Sam Katakouzanos, I told you about him. He's back there in the 9th position. He's sitting there waiting. Have a look at these pictures. We're 3-4 wide, 12 deep, and we've got 13 laps to go, 88 of 100.
Yeah, it's the time of the race now where Aiden and I get a little excited. We start standing up in our seats. We can't sit down. We're just, hearts racing, adrenaline pumping, just watching this. I can't imagine how these drivers will be feeling now in the car, being this close. I'm not really used to being in the car while the racing is this close, so I know that I'd be freaking out. So Gary Wellman, Kay Donnelly, Todd Maxfield, Ruben Phelps doing an awesome job to maintain the first 4 positions. Strategy's out the window now. Everything's done. It's just get to the end and try and get the W. No team strategies, just get there.
And what a showcase of driving here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. Anyone wanting to get a part of this, jump on board with the Australasian Supercar E-Series through iRacing. But as there's contact down the main straight, they keep going. But how good is this as a showcase of driving? They're all getting into each other. Witcher's on the radio. I can hear him in the background. He's not happy either. But there's a big accident in the background. We've gone yellow.
Yeah, that one's coming. It's going to be a 10-lap.
Kobe Jordan.
Yeah, Kobe Jordan there. It's just we will go to the instant replay once it has
when
been
when it comes up. We'll bring that up.
Yeah,
but Kay Donnelly still leading the way, Ryan. So to jump over the top of you, but we'll go back to the instant replay. See what happened with the 080 Kobe Jordan there, as there was a big incident in the fence. So they make their way down the back stretch. It was 2 or 3 wide all the time. We'll just see Kobe Jordan on that outside line. So he's just sitting there and minding his own business. Not sure if something happened just in front of him and he was the innocent bystander. Sam Katakouzanos just in front of him as well. So we'll see. They're going down into this. There was a lot of contact here between drivers. You can see there on the inside line, Witcher in contact, or Raymond Yeager in contact. Kobe just minding his own business on the outside line. So he's come up, hasn't realised the car on the outside of him, and Kobe's just come up, and that sent the 080 into the fence. So not sure who that was with Kobe. That looks like that is a Pinnacle Esports car. So Justin Witcher up into the fence as well. So your 2-time reigning champion now out of this motor race with only about 14 laps to go. Kobe Jordan not going to play a part in this one either.
Yeah, Justin was involved in that incident there, as we saw, but he has been, lately he's been getting called out in these incidents. He's sitting there in P10, so not sure how much damage he'll have, but he won't be happy with that one. We will have 7 lap sprint to the end estimate. I'm not too sure how many laps they will have under caution here, but it will be Kay Donnelly and Gary Wellman locking out the front row for the restart. So everything's out the window. If drivers need to pit, as Kobe Jordan does come into the pit lane at the moment, as we can see on screen. So no strategies now. As I've said before, they'll be racing to the end, and I'd expect to see a few crashes over the over the finish line on the final lap of the race. So.
Yeah, well, we're about to go green shortly. We'll bring Gary Wellman up into the broadcast booth. Gaz, mate, Hope you don't mind us bringing you up into the broadcast booth. Currently sitting in P2, Sim Boys 1 and 2. I tell you what a showcase of driving by all the drivers tonight.
Yeah, she's pretty hot running up the front, 3 wide. Yeah, so far so good. Get the clean, so we'll see what happens at the end.
We'll see how we go, mate. But you and Cabo at the front there doing a great job. Weren't really there early. We say this in most broadcasts. You've been strategising pretty well here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and no surprise to see the Sim Boys 1-2 at the moment, and 3 with Toddy Maxfield in there behind you. You've got to look out for Auto Racing of Paul Jackson. Of course, you got Phelpsy there, Barry Neal, Andy Barber, Raymond Yabers, Sam Katakouzenos. They can come from anywhere, but the 45, Gary Wellman, mate, how you feeling, mate? There's only about 8 laps to go. She's going to be 3 wide racing. What's the strategy here from the Sim Boys at the front?
Oh, I don't know, mate. Just send it. It's good to have a few of the boys up the front, and we'll, pull Toddy up the front too to a podium. It'd be cool.
No worries at all, Ryan. Real quickly, only one more lap until we go green with Gaz. A little bit of a chat to Gaz. Thanks again, Gaz, for allowing us to pull you up into the broadcast booth, mate. I know it's a really nervous time. You know, we only got 8 laps left, but to give us your time here on the InterSim Esports Network, we really appreciate it, and we hope you get to the point. But Ryan, quick chat with Gary before we let him jump back up and concentrate and see if he can put the 45 into the winner's line tonight.
Yeah, guys, so you've got to be happy with being in P2 at the moment there. Bold strategy, well, not bold strategy, very good strategy calls throughout the race. How do you feel like the end of the race is going to go as the lights of the safety car do go out?
I think anything can happen, but it's worked out all right so far. I think probably the front's the safest place to be at the moment. So, yeah, we'll just try and hold the big pack off.
Well, Gary Wellman, we'll let you go. Sorry to jump over there, Ryan. We can see you going down the back stretch. It's going to be a Sim Boys 1-2 front row here for the restart. Gary, best of luck, mate. Hopefully we're talking to you up here in the broadcast booth at the end of this one.
Thanks, boys. See ya.
Well, there we go, Ryan. How good is that? The drivers making themselves available here on the InterSim Esports Network. They're about to go green and 3 wide, and Gary Wellman just goes, I'll just have a casual chat while I'm off the front row. How about that? So, yeah. Good to see that here on the InterSim Esports Network, albeit he didn't have a choice. I just pulled him up here. But anyway, Gary, it will be Kate Donnelly and Gary Wellman leading the way here for the restart. Hopefully it's the final restart tonight. It's only the second yellow we've had, and we're going to go 4 wide. We've got 17 cars in contention here to take this win that are on the lead lap, and from what we have seen, we are going to go 4 wide early. We've got Gary Wellman, Cade Donnelly off the front row, Cade Donnelly on the inside, and he's taken the green flag, and we're green. We're already 3 wide in the background here at Autoclub. As we go across the line, we're going to go lap 94 into 100. Who's going to take round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries? We'll find out in about 6 minutes' time as we go through turn number 1 and 2. And it is still Cade Donnelly, Tom Maxfield getting a good run. So it's Sim Boys 1, 2, 3. Reuben Phelps on the outside line as well. And we're 3 wide down the back straight.
Yeah, and you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Wellman did say that they will be sending it. So that's the strategy call that Gary's just told us. So we're going 3 wide down near the start-finish line here as they're going into lap 95. 5 laps to go here. These guys will be racing hard. Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman still maintaining first and second.
As that outside line gets a bit squirrely, as I think Paul Jackson maybe there got just into the back of, it might have been Gary Wellman on that outside line and got a little bit squirrely. That's allowed Cade Donnelly just to sort of stretch out, but look at that draft on the outside line, those 4 cars completely teaming up together and running into turn number 3 and 4 as there's an incident in the background, but we're still green. Jai Schultz is a part of that as well by the looks of it as well. He's in the background, but Cade Donnelly still leading the way down the main straight this time around. We will change the camera off the top and go have a look to the race. And Cade Donnelly leading the way down the main straight. Jai Schultz there though, he is up into the 13th position. Andy Barber has moved back a little bit. He's just in front of that as well. So Andy's probably thinking, I don't want a part of this. But we're only now, we're 95, 96 into 100. And this is the battle for the lead. There's more contact. And Sam Katakouzenos in the fence. Paul Jackson in the fence. And we've got a car upside down. And we're under caution again. Paul Jackson a part of another one. I tell you what, Paul here on the InterSim Esports Network, he's been a part of everything tonight, and I tell you what, he's got away with another one there, as it looks like he's still good to go, but there was a car on its lid. Sam Katakouzanos, looks like that's night over for him, as we'll go back to the instant replay very shortly when that does become available. But Ryan, 97 into 100. We knew there would be another incident, but we'll just go across to the instant replay and see what happened between Paul Jackson and Sam Katakouzanos right there. So there's contact. So Paul Jackson, the innocent bystander there, looks like Raymond Yeager on the inside got contact with someone. That shot Paul Jackson up into Sam Katakouzanos. They're both up in the wall. There's a car on the inside now spinning up into the wall. Sam's going to have nowhere to go, and that is night done, and a car's on its lid, and that is all she wrote. So big tumble there by the car in behind. Not sure who that is with the purple wheels, but that was a big tumble there by that driver.
Yeah, and I must say Andy Barber there is very lucky. I was watching him specifically because I did have a feeling that he could be involved there. But you can see on the front of his car, it looks very clean at the moment after he just had, I'm not sure what driver flipped just then, but he did unfortunately get a little bit involved there with no damage there. So he is counting his lucky stars, as Gary Wellman said earlier. Everyone's going to be sending it. So also I can't forget to mention Brett Campbell sitting there in the 30th position, just sprinkling a bit of the commentator's curse there.
100%, but we've moved Andy Barber up into the broadcast booth. Andy, I hope you don't mind. Aiden and Ryan from the broadcast booth, mate, you got a copy?
Copy.
Mate, what racing here at Autoclub, mate? It's been 3 wide. You moved away up into P3 and you're about to go green, so I won't keep you long. Just trying to manage the car at the moment, try and get a good result by the looks.
Yeah, mate, yeah, just trying to get in a good rhythm and pick my spots. I think I'm the only soldier left in the Southern Stars camp, so yeah, it's very tricky. I kind of don't want to stay on the high line because, you know, I might ruin my chances at the end. So as we see, safety cars often breed more, but yeah, we might go green checker for this one.
Well, we'll see where we go, mate. We'll let you jump back up. It's really, really close to going green here. But Andy Barber, the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, we will see. No, we're still under caution, actually. Sorry. So we'll have a chat to you for a little bit longer. So you need to hear my stupid voice for just another couple of minutes. Mate, you did have a good strategy call there. You made your way up into P3 after that last green flag pit stop, and it was looking pretty good. And then the cars behind just slowly ranged up with the draft. But Autoclub Speedway, I know you love the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Unfortunate for a couple of Southern Stars Esports Racing entries tonight, but I know you love the Australasian Supercar eSeries, and Autoclub with the setup tonight has created some really great racing. It's 3 wide, and the driving calibre by everyone tonight, you've got to be happy with that.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it was even 4 wide at some stages there, so you really had to pick and choose where you were and really drive smart. But yeah, it looks like this is the final caution, and it'll be green-white checkers, so we'll see how this one plays out, boys.
Well, Ryan, quickly over to Andy before we go green, mate. Have a bit chat to Andy, give him a bit of good luck, mate.
Yeah, did notice in the replay there when we did go to the instant replay before that you did actually have a bit of a face full of a rolling car actually, and it doesn't look like you've sustained any damage on the front there. You must have gotten the scare.
Oh, mate, I just, you know, put on the anchors and looked in my mirror and hope I didn't hit anyone. But yeah, no, just trying to look after the car with no fast repairs in these in this series is probably one of the paramount things. So you need a good car to be right here at the end right now to have a crack at what's about to happen.
Well, Andy Barber, the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, thank you for your time here up on the InterSim Esports Network broadcast booth. We wish you all the best. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end in the podium, but we'll let you jump back up and concentrate as we're about to go green.
No worries, boys. Have a good call.
Well, there you go, Ryan. Andy Barber, the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. We're about to go green. How good is it that these drivers give their time here in the broadcast booth? But it's going to be Cade Donnelly, Gary Wellman off your front row, your championship leader, Raymond Yeager, if you don't mind. He'll be on the outside of the second row. We're going green, right checker, Ruben Phelps, Todd Maxfield, Barry Neal, Nigel Payton, Nicholas Walsh. It's anyone's. As we're about to go green, strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because it is about to go 3 wide to decide round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. Barney's about to wave the green flag, and we're green. Cade Donnelly taking it to the way, and we're already 3 wide in the background as Gary Wellman gets a good run around the outside there into turn number 1 and 2. So there'll be this lap and 1 to go, and we will decide the winner here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. Raymond Yeager getting a good run. He's going to make it 3 wide down the back straight, your championship leader. 4 wide if you don't mind as we go down the back straight here at Autoclub Speedway. Raymond Yeager on the inside and Ruben Phelps just sitting there on the inside behind Raymond as well. So your championship leaders decide to lead from the front here with 1 lap to go as they make their way through 3 and 4. So this is going to be white flag here for round number 5. And now Cade Donnelly's got the run on Raymond Yeager down into turn number 1 and 2 this time around. Who's going to get the W here? It can be anyone's with 5 wide in the background into 1 and 2. Gary Wellman there on the inside. We got Jai Schultz coming a part of this as well in the background. It's anyone's as they make their way down the back straight this time around, Ryan. So Raymond Yeager on the outside there into turns 3 and 4. We're going 3 wide. Ruben Phelps goes, I'm going up the inside, boys. 4 wide into 3 and 4. Ruben Phelps sends it into 3 and 4. Kate Donnelly getting a good run on the inside. We're going to go side by side and 4 wide across the line here to decide the winner. Is it going to be Kate Donnelly? Is it going to be Ruben Phelps? We've got an incident. It's going to be Kate Donnelly takes the win here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. Barry Neal in P2 and Todd Maxfield in P number 3 as Kate Donnelly ends up on his lid. Oh, yeah. How good was that?
Oh, that's commitment to the end of the race there. He's still sitting there upside down there. He won't be happy with that end. Yeah, it was definitely certain that there was going to be a crash at the end there.
Kate Donnelly had that, Ryan. Kate Donnelly had that win, mate. He had that win.
Barry Neal and Todd Maxfield also awesome rest of the podium. Ruben Phelps did chuck it on the inside there to try and interrupt that, but unfortunately he did come out in the 4th position. Not on the podium tonight, but also our championship leader, as we go to Todd Maxfield, our championship leader, Raymond Yeager, did only get 7th, so he won't be happy with that amount of points. So he would be trying to get more, but yeah.
Still a good bag of points though there, Ryan, for Raymond, your championship leader, coming out of this one. So he's still probably going to lead the championship heading into round 6 next week. But I tell you what, how good was that? Cade Donnelly coming home with the win, Barry Neal 2nd, Todd Maxwell in 3rd. We'll just let you enjoy all the pictures here on the Intersim Esports Network for the next 40 seconds as I go away and catch my breath as Pete brings up the instant replay of that finish, and we'll go through what was the final finishing positions here for round number 5 at Autoclub Speedway.
Yeah, it does look like at the top there on the high line did get a bit messy, and as we can see, there is a car over there. Actually, multiple cars looking like they're going to be on their roof as Aiden does prepare to get the drivers, the podium finishes up in the broadcast booth, so get ready for that.
I'm back with you, Ryan. We'll go through your final race positions here, finishing order here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries from Autoclub Speedway as we've gone, and that's just it having a heart attack on us as it always does. Cade Donnelly comes home with the win tonight over Todd Maxfield, so it's a Sim Boys. No, Barry Neal comes 2nd. So, no, Barry Neal's back into 3rd. That's interesting. So Cade Donnelly comes home with the win over Todd Maxfield. Sim Boys 1-2. Barry Neal in 3rd. Ruben Phelps 4th. Nicholas Walsh come home in 5th position tonight. So Sim Boys 1, 2, and 5. Gary Wellman in 6th. Raymond Yeager in 7th. Jai Schultz coming home in 8th with Justin Witcher and Andy Barber rounding out your 10. Nigel Payton in 11. Pete Matson in 12th. Brett Campbell in 13th. Kobe Jordan in 14th. Jared Daly in 15th. Paul Jackson in 16th, a night that could have been for Paul. Tristan Koch in 17th. Sam Katakuznos in 18th after being on his in the wall earlier as we go across the page to your 19th position. So we'll just wait for that to come up. And in 19th position tonight was Greg Spencer. Aaron Dillon coming home in 20th position. Darren McKenzie, 21st. Troy Davison, 22nd. Steve Hoppett, 23rd. Adam Malone, 24th. Jamie Nankervis, 25th. We spoke to him earlier after a hard night at the office. And Johnny Quass coming home in the 26th position tonight, Ryan. So That brings to an end round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. We'll go to the green room in a minute, Ryan. I'll just let you talk a little bit through round 5. I just got to walk away for 2 seconds, and I'll be back, and I'll bring all the drivers up here into the broadcast booth.
Yeah, we certainly had an action-packed race today. Only 2 cautions. This is a track where I have actually won here in the old Legacy Indy cars. So it's one of my favourite circuits, and these drivers certainly did tackle this round with very close racing, and they did do a very good job to maintain the close racing and have very few incidents as Aiden brings up the podium finishes tonight. So yeah, pass it over to Aiden to do the podium interviews with Todd Maxfield, Kay Donnelly, and Barry Neal.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll start off with the third place getter. I'm not actually sure because when we went to the post-race, gentlemen, it showed that Todd Maxfield got second and Barry didn't, but my live timing showing Barry. So, Barry, second or third place tonight, mate?
By like thousands. I think Todd beat me by thousands.
Yeah, righto. So my live timing actually showed that you come home in second, but then when we went to the post-race stuff in third. So Barry Neal, mate, I can't pronounce it, at Auto Racing in the 22, mate. Good result there for P3. I tell you what, Autoclub Speedway in the supercars, it created some sensational racing tonight. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, no, it was good. There's just enough tow. There's plenty of tow there, and you really have, unless you are running the inside line, you don't have to lift. So she's full noise if you're on one of those outside lanes. So no, it's good. We tried really hard in that second stint to try and break the tow. I had a bit of a leg there for a bit, and I was trying really hard to see if I could break the tow, and I thought I'd almost done it, but then someone pulled it up again. So.
Yeah, I said that on the broadcast booth, mate. I could see you changing lanes a little bit, trying to try and get out of that tow, and I sort of saw that you got the biggest lead of the race, albeit just being half a second. But we all know here in the Australasian Supercar eSeries, that's a really big lead, and just trying to get that get out of that tow. But it wasn't meant to be. But I tell you what, Paul Jackson, your teammate tonight, he was a part of everything. He was up there. Unfortunate for him, he probably should have finished a lot higher than P10, but he was a part of everything tonight.
Yeah, no, he was. He was. He had a great win last night in NIS actually, he was last ranked and he won it. And he came tonight thinking, I won it Auto Club last night on NIS, so I'll be able to do well tonight. And he did a great job.
Must have been his date he went on yesterday, mate. It must have given him a bit of inspiration. But, mate, good job anyway. P3, no surprise to see you up here in the podium. Sensational driver, bigger gentleman to boot as well, mate. And good to see you up here in P number 3, mate. So a big shout out to all those sponsors and everyone involved for getting the podium tonight.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, thanks to Autoclub Racing and Jackson and these guys that put it on, Raymond and Witches and all the rest of them for doing a great job, and thanks.
No worries at all, mate. No doubt it won't be the last time we'll see you up here in the broadcast booth with the podium here for the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. But that's your third place getter tonight, the 22 of Barry Neal. We head across to your second place getter tonight, Toddy Maxfield. Todd, the first time we've spoken to you up here in the broadcast booth, mate, P2, it definitely wasn't an easy night at the office. You've got to be happy with that one.
Mate, I'm absolutely stoked with it. Yeah, definitely right there. It wasn't easy.
Mate, the Simboys racing entries always fast here in the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Unfortunate night for Aaron Dillon, Troy Davidson. They would have been there or thereabouts, but we spoke about you a little bit in the broadcast. You were sort of back there early on, sort of just biding your time, and you just waited until the right time and come home P2.
Yeah, mate, just sort of sit back a little bit and watch it all unfold in front. You know, try and stay with other boys there and tag along and hope for the podium at the end. So it worked out my way, which is good.
So is this the last time we're going to see you in the InterSim Esports Network broadcast booth, mate? Are you going to make a habit of this now? We're going to be able to talk to you each week? Are we're going to have to set up a chair for you here in the broadcast booth to have a chat to you every week?
Well, we broke the ice now, so I'll try and get up there a bit more if I can now, hopefully. So, yeah, it'd be good to be up here.
No doubt you will, mate. No doubt you will. You did an absolutely sensational job tonight. Absolutely drove flawlessly, and great to see you come home with a P2 tonight. Mate, big shout out to everyone involved for your P2 tonight. You've got to be absolutely stoked.
Yeah, mate, Hot Toddy's Eating Installs, United Electrical Solutions, and to all the sim boys, mate. Like, these guys have brought us on board, and it's really enjoyable racing with them, and yeah, it's paid off for me tonight, which is great. I'm stoked.
100%, and hopefully it's not the last time we speak to you. No doubt with the way that you drove the 016 tonight, it's not going to be the last time we speak to you here in the broadcast booth. But Toddy Maxfield, mate, big congratulations on your P2 tonight. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your P2 place getter here tonight for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series. It was the 016 Sim Boys racing entry of Todd Maxfield. We move across to the man of the moment, Cabo. Cade Donnelly, P1, mate, no stranger to P1 here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, but that could have gone any way at the end there.
Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, no. It was a pretty eventful finish sliding across the line on my roof, but yeah, if that's the win, I'll take it.
It's funny you actually got the win because I was looking at it and it didn't look like you actually got the win. So I don't know how that played out, to be honest. You definitely had the win coming onto the main straight. You were just covering off on the guys on the outside line. We saw Barry Neal with a big run on the inside. But, mate, you'll take it. A win's a win. And another bunch of chocolates here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and a Sim Boys 1-2, even more to the point, mate. You've got to be stoked with that.
Yeah, mate, we're stoked. Yeah, no, we'll take that 100%.
Well, we're going back and looking at it now, and you actually did finish doing a 3.5 somersault with a pike across the start-finish line. And, mate, I think that's the first time in a long time I've seen a driver actually finish and win on his lid.
Can I get some more points?
Mate, you'll have to talk to Raymond about that. But I tell you what, I've got probably a 7 out of 10 for degree of difficulty, but 10 out of 10 for execution, mate.
Yeah, nice.
Well, Cade Donnelly, mate, P1 tonight. Happy with that, obviously. Big shout out to all those sponsors, everyone involved.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out to the Sim Boys, of course, Toddy, Hot Toddy's Heating Installs, and United Electrical Solutions for coming on. And yeah, like I said, just all Sim Boys getting around each other and getting the job done.
Yeah.
Well, mate, no doubt it won't be your last time here this season. We've spoken to you a lot in the last 2 seasons. Always up there or thereabouts here for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. Ryan, have a little bit of a chat to Cade Donnelly. I've done enough of the talking. Have a bit of chat to Cade before we let him go.
Yeah, mate. You finished the race on your lid, so you definitely get some style points for that. Unfortunately, you don't get any championship points for that. But yeah, a lot of team strategy throughout the race. We saw the Southern Stars boys and the Pinnacle Esports guys really trying to bring it on with you guys. You guys have been doing really well throughout the race. How are you? Sorry, I'm just trying to gather my words. How do you feel like the rest of the championship can go for the Sim Boys? Do you think you guys can challenge Raymond Yeager and possibly steal the championship lead off him towards the end of the series?
Oh, it's early days, mate. Anything's possible. But yeah, I mean, we'll give it a crack. That's for sure. Like, you know, Raymond's a good guy. We don't want to try and steal it off him, but at the same, we'll race hard for it.
Yeah, certainly will. You guys are very quick. Yeah, thank you for being here, sitting in the podium here, allowing us to interview you, and congratulations to you and the boys at Sim Boys.
Yep, cheers, mate.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Your race winner, none other than the 41 Sim Boys entry of Cade Donnelly. So your 1, 2, 3 tonight was Cade Donnelly, Todd Maxfield and Barry Neal. That does bring you to the end of the broadcast tonight here for round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar E-Series, but it doesn't stop here on the Intersim Esports Network. We go live on Tuesday night once again, which will be the next round of the Molecule Australia TCR Series here. You can see all the action live here from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. But then we'll be live again on Wednesday night. We're going TCR action again. It'll be the SkyPoint TCR League, and we'll be live here from the same time, 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you may be. But then we'll be live again back next week, Sunday night, for the big one, the big dance, the Indy 400, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, here for round number 6 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. Who's going to take it? Last year we saw it taken by 0.001 of a second after 300 miles or 300 kilometres. So we'll see who's going to take that one out. But for tonight, it was Cade Donnelly, Barry Neal and Todd Maxfield taking out Cade Donnelly, Todd Maxfield and Barry Neal taking out your P3. That brings to the end of the broadcast from myself, Paul Jackson, and everyone at the Intersim Esports Network. Of course, Pete in behind the cameras, mate. Big shout out to you. And Ryan here in the broadcast booth. We hope you enjoyed all the action. We definitely had an absolute ball bringing it to you. But that brings to the end round number 5 of the My Private Seller Australasian Supercar eSeries. From everyone here at the Intersim Esports Network, we hope you enjoyed that. We wish you a good night.